Emily and I went on a 3-day, 32-kilometer hike last week through the first loop of the Western Uplands Trail and recorded lots of footage with the intent of making this video. A video that will hopefully be informative for you, the viewer, and reflective for ourselves. This was our first time backpacking and also our first time hiking Algonquin Provincial Park, so if you're also interested in doing multi-day hiking and or doing the trail we did, then I hope you can learn from our mistakes and have an even better time. We did have a good time, but we would definitely do some things differently.
Hello, Mama Emily.
I probably look so stupid.
You're looking like a mama. You gonna make me dinner tonight like Mama made it?
These sites had to be booked ahead of time, and I would recommend booking several months early if you're going to do it during the popular seasons like late summer or fall. I'm even going to give this particular trail some ratings at the end of the video based on difficulty, campsite quality, trail maintenance, and natural feel.
Thank you.
If you're not familiar with backpacking through the woods, let me tell you what it essentially is. Everything you need to sleep, eat, drink, and poop, you carry on your back. That's why those packs are so oversized. Well, the idea is to go as light as possible, so if you're more experienced, I guess you could probably pack a smaller backpack. Every hiker has their personal preferences and necessities for making a trip enjoyable, though. My luxury items were my ebook and my frisbee, and my GoPro, of course. I took some of this footage with my GoPro and some with my cell phone camera. I didn't want to lug along my good G7X that was about a pound I didn't want to carry around. Plus the battery life on that's terrible. I digress. Didn't end up using the frisbee though, so I'd leave that behind next time. At least it didn't weigh much. Leg 1 of our journey was a little over 10K and took us under 4 hours. The trail was steeper than I had expected, but it is designated as difficult by the park themselves. I wore my Fitbit the whole journey, and on day 1 it recorded over 20,000 steps and over 130 stories of elevation climb. No, this isn't a mountain climb, but all the valleys and hills made for a lot of steep steps up and down. We camped at Steep Rise, in a cozy, secluded site on a lake. I think all sites are on some body of water, which is great for refilling water reserves and for cooking meals. We opted for the purifying tablets for their ease of use and small size. We never had to refill water on the way, but we certainly could have since we crossed many streams and passed many lakes every single day. So in retrospect, I would have embarked with a little less water weight. I initially started with 4 liters and Emily carried 2. For cooking, I brought a Stanley cookpot and used a wood-burning collapsible stove. The stove was a little heavy, but worked really well and we never went hungry. Trying out different dehydrated meals, our favorite was definitely a home medley of instant soup, noodles, and TVP. Setting up campsite was simple and quick, and after a dip in the lake to rinse off the grime, we were in bed by 9. Day 2 was the longest day, planned so because it was our only full day in the woods. We hiked from 8:45 to 3 with a 1-hour stop for hot lunch at Oak Lake. Great campsite, nice wind to keep the bugs at bay. In total, we hiked almost 14K and climbed over 200 stories in elevation to reach Ramona Lake. Definitely the hardest day, but we made great pace and got to camp early enough to have a bit of a nap before dinner. Here, there were 4 campsites, but each was separated enough that we felt secluded still. It was nice. The animals were much quieter than Steep Rise, so falling asleep was no issue. On the last day, we broke camp after 9, and with only one 10-minute break, got back to the car before 12, covering 8 kilometers and 70 stories of elevation. That was about 14,000 steps. It was definitely the easiest walking of the trip, and the trail was flatter and wider. So what could we have done differently? Firstly, I would have brought more bug repellent. I didn't realize how easily they could bite through clothing, so score 1 for the bugs. My Aunt Kate did warn me. Plus, May and June are high season for bugs, and it being Algonquin, there's a lot of marshland and muddy areas for mosquito breeding, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's bugs outside those hot zones. Word to the wise, if you can't handle bug bites, go in the late summer or fall. Secondly, I would have left my little trowel at home because each campsite on this trail had a box for toilet facilities. No need to dig cat holes, toilet paper though was not included. Thirdly, I would have brought earplugs. I forgot how loud nature can get with the birds, frogs, and the myriad of wildlife competing to be heard at night, especially next to a lake. Fourthly, I would bring some long underwear to sleep in. Even though my mummy's sleeping bag can keep warm to just a few degrees Celsius, so it says, we were not comfortably warm, but we were fine with another layer inside, wearing socks and a sweatshirt while we slept. Alright, so what do I think about the trail itself? The Western Uplands hiking trail. Difficulty, I'd put it at a 3 out of 5. You know, it's not climbing a mountain, but the steep hills, the steep ups and downs will put your leg strength to the test, and various river and bog crossings will test your balance. Many times we had to kind of hopscotch from rock to rock, or kind of tightrope walk along a log. If your balance is not that sharp, I'd suggest wearing waterproof boots if you're going in the spring or early summer. For campsite quality, I would rate it a 4.5 out of 5. I was truly impressed with the seclusion and the cleanliness. The poop box was a nice bonus. I'm withholding the last half point because I don't think perfection is truly attainable. Trail maintenance is a 4 out of 5. The trail is well marked the whole way, and as long as you know where you're going and are familiar with the map, you won't get lost. There's these nice little blue dudes pinned to trees maybe every couple hundred meters. We did get off trail once because there was an odd twisty fork in the road that crossed with a dried up riverbed, so we followed that riverbed for a few minutes before realizing we weren't on a path.
Let's go.
Lesson learned, if it doesn't look like an obvious trail, then it isn't. Occasionally we had to traverse fallen logs or take detours to get around swampy bits that had broken down crossings, but it wasn't much of an issue. For natural feel, 4 out of 5.
But feel,
You say?
that is a very ambiguous term.
By natural feel, I suppose I mean the general enjoyment I got from the woodsy experience. The 5th point is withheld because of the staggering amount of mosquitoes. 2 of the 5 other backpackers we encountered had bug nets on, so they knew well what they were in for, but the tree coverage, the beautiful lakesides, the various wildlife we saw, all contributed to a feeling of true nature immersion. Well, that's all. I hope you learned something or at least enjoyed the journey. I'm doing another hike at the end of July, but this one will be a full week of 7 nights, so I might document that one as well. We'll see. Until then, take care.
So, thoughts on the experience?
It was
Finally
great.
done.
Yeah, I'm happy we did it. I'm excited for the summertime. Look forward to doing more trips like this.
Is there any ways you would shed weight?
Um,
Anything you'd leave behind?
I think my pack was manageable.
Yeah, mine was too, but I think I'd leave my hatchet behind.
Yeah.
I just wanted, I don't know, it was like the boy in me who was like, gotta bring a hatchet.
Cool.